What is up, YouTube? Pedro with Leroy's Lawn Landscaping here. Just doing my routine, what's it called, Sunday maintenance on some of the equipment. I try to do it on the weekends, or I at least try to do it during Sunday when it's a little easier for me without having to, excuse me for a second, having to what's it called, you know, of course, stop working or whatever and do the maintenance. So that's when I do it. I do it on Sundays, or you know, if something comes up or whatever, then I'll try to do it, like, you know, of course, during the week, but in the afternoon. But I like to try to get you know, my mowers checked out, all that good stuff, look at all the equipment and all that throughout the weekend. That way, whenever I do start my week, I'm ready to go. There's no second guessing. There's nothing like that. Of course, you're always going to have your surprises during the week, but at least for me, I try to prevent, you know, all of that from happening by doing this during the weekend. So today I was, you know, tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing sharpening my blades, you know, checking my mower and all that, making sure that, sorry, I'm over here fixing this thing in the back of the camera. Tornado, hurricane, earthquake, no kidding. But wanted to talk to you guys about, you know, doing the maintenance on your equipment during the weekend, or whenever you do it. Hopefully you guys get a chance to do it during the weekend and don't neglect it. One of the biggest things that I see that people neglect is sharpening your blades. You know, I'll show you how I sharpen my blades in another video, in a future video, but for now, you know, I've got my blades nice and sharp. I do all that on my own. You know, I don't like to spend the money. You know, it's cool if you can take it to a shop and have them do it. They don't charge very much. At least the ones that I go to don't charge very much, and it's worth it sometimes just to save yourself a little bit of headache and time. But you know, like I said, in the future, I will show you guys how I do the sharpening of my blades. But for now, I wanted to talk to you guys about when I do this, right? I like to check everything on my mower. I like to make sure that all my bearings are good, all my spindles are not messed up or anything like that. So let me take you underneath this bad boy. It's my Hustler. You know, I like it. It's actually the first Hustler I've ever owned. I've ridden them before. I've ridden Ferris. You know, I've ridden Dixie. I've ridden all of them. This is my first one, and I like it. I like it a lot, actually. It's neat. But let me take you underneath its skirt. I'm kidding. And show you guys. That I've taken the blades off. I've done all of that. When I do take my blades off, of course, I do it the good old-fashioned way. So a pry bar, you know, and a 15/16 is what this is. And if it gets stuck, I go to the good old block. You know, I take it, put it like right here. The blade will hit, boom, and you can use the pry bar to pop it off. That's what I do. But also what I do is, while I'm under here, I like to check these guys right here. You know, just kind of give it a tug. I'll make sure that none of them are loose. You know, this one has obviously 3 spindles, or 3 bearing houses, or whatever you guys want to call them. You know, it has that one over there. I've checked that one. I've checked this one, and I've checked this one as well. So, you know, and I've at one time, as you can see, I, you know, have it on a, what's it called, you know, just ramps and stuff, easy enough to get on there and whatnot. But what I like to do is I'll take the cover of this off, which I've already done, and replace, put it back. But, you know, check, of course, like the spindles and all that, you know, making sure that none of that none of those are loose and need to be replaced or have any play in it, wobble that's going to mess up your belt, all of that. So that's another thing, you know. But while I'm also doing it, while I'm doing this, right, what I like to do here, let me put you over here instead. Okay, what I like to do is check out my wild hair. Wild hair, don't care. But I'll take some of this stuff. This one is made by Permatex, I believe, Permatex, and it's an anti-seize lubricant, you know, and you know, it's just gray. I think it's got like some kind of coppering or some kind of copper type of liquid in there or whatnot. But what I do is, which I've already done the other ones, and this one, you know, has a little bit of it. I need to put a little bit more, but it doesn't take a lot. Even with what you guys see on there, right there, you know, would be enough to actually keep your bolts and everything from being seized in there, you know, like basically locking themselves in there and making it very hard for you to take them off by hand. You know, then you'd have to go to the shop, or if you had a big compressor, of course it's easier to do so. But say you don't, like myself, I don't have a big compressor or nothing like that. Take a little bit of this onto this, a couple dabs here and there, and boom, you're ready to go. You don't have to do it every single time that you change the blades, but I like to do it about every fourth time. That way, you know, it gives it time to wear and all that. Another big thing that I do with these is I never put the same bolt into the same housing. What I do is, you know, I basically interchange them. I'll move them around and all of that good stuff. So, you know, of course, also with the no seize, that's what I call it, no seize, on there, it's easier to take it off. But when you do put these back on, you got to make sure that you put them on nice and tight. You know, give them a good extra oomph of tightening, and you'll be good. So remember, like I said, you have to give them a good extra, you know, tightening on there. Put your blade on, of course, you know, and again, like I said, I don't have a you know, fancy compressor, nothing like that, or one of those what's it called, cordless impact guns, nothing like that. I like to do everything nice and hands-on. So I take and nice and tight, I'll give it towards where I almost can't, you know, move it. You know, I think it's supposed to be 50 psi. I'm really not sure. I'm not an expert at it, but I just like to make sure that these guys are nice and tight on there. I've had them drop on me a couple times, you know, when somebody else has put them on. So I try to do it all, you know, for the most part on my own. You know, plus I've had some guys, which I don't understand how they'll do it, but they'll take, you know, the sharp part of the blade, you know, the cutting edge, obviously here, you know, and they'll put it upside down. I have no idea why they would do that, you know, or they don't just use common sense and like look and like, oh well, hey, that's the way it's supposed to cut, but they don't. But again, guys, that's my little trick to putting my blades on. You know, I'll use that no seize, give it a good little torque, and we're ready to go. You know what I mean? Again, just whenever you're changing your blades, you're doing your regular maintenance. I'm having to search for my headphones. When you're doing your regular maintenance and replacing your blades or changing your blades, which I do like every third day, you know, depending on how many yards I cut, but it doesn't really matter unless I've cut like, you know, 4 yards on a Tuesday. They're still good all the way until Wednesday into Thursday. So, but about every third day. So if I doing it now. I used it all day on Monday, all day Tuesday, and then by Wednesday I'm changing the blades. That's just me. That's just the way I like it. It gives you a nicer, cleaner cut, and you know, again, you can check your mower more regularly that way. But again, just make sure that if you haven't used it, go look for it. It's a no-seas. I mean, I've had this thing for months, so it tells you how much you actually have to use of it. Just a couple dabs of this, and it'll save you time, you know, whenever you're doing your maintenance. And again, I do, you know, every 3 days, or yeah, about every 3 days, because it gives me more chance to check, you know, all of my housings, my spindles, all the bearings and all of that. So go get some. If you don't know about it, you know about it now. If you knew about it, hey, pass the information on. It'll help others, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to help others. So all right, guys, I hope you guys find the video helpful, and if you have any questions, hit me up. If you have any comments, hit me up. And also, I'd like for you to hit like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys on the other side.